Welcome back to Metroid Prime. In this part, we're getting yet another upgrade and killing more enemies, I guess. But we're going up this time. At least a little bit. Probably non-operational because the water is poison and awful. But yeah, at this point, I'll go into like story things that I can, but I really don't think that I can add that much to the more important text. So if there's a lot of awkward, quiet moments, it'll actually be more intentional this time. Probably use some annotations to let people skip that. But for now, we're going up here. Ignoring these enemies. Because screw them. Stupid Shrike Batch or... That's what they're... Yeah. I almost forgot the names of them. Ow. Now it's kind of what you expect. And another room with these ions. I'll always just call them like eyeball laser creatures. Or whatever. Now as we head over here, we'll find this small tunnel and this very strange little creature. Now stone toads are very interesting because, watch. They will try to eat you if you turn to Morph Ball, but they'll spit you out because you're metal. Don't think they would eat that. Now we just roll down these tunnels. We have to get to a door and... another mini-boss. Scan this for more research data. You can actually lose out on scanning this because... well, they're mostly used for like mini-bosses like this. Now, I kind of find this interesting. This is supposed to be used for, like, some sort of use for, like... okay, that's really bad. I did not... Wow. My energy's really bad right now. I shouldn't have done that. But I've seen other people point out that this thing is kind of silly to have some sort of practical, non-violent use. Like, here's our non-violent flamethrower thing. That just kills bugs. I'm like, sure, okay. A little too convenient now that it's a mini-boss. Like how I said before, that like a lot of the creatures are like, they're not just video game enemies. They're like actual creatures in this world. That starts to lose a little bit of credibility with like... this. I mean, I'm sure there's some practical use for it, but it'll always seem a bit silly. And it also conveniently turns up and down so you can like jump above the flame when it's turning around like that. Like that, which I failed to do. Or just go under it sometimes. I keep strafing instead of just jumping. That was kind of sad. I shouldn't have done that poorly. Luckily, all the war wasps died. I think that's the last different type of war wasp. And with that mini boss defeated, we get the Morph Ball Bomb. The reason why the Morph Ball is so well known in the series is probably partially because it has a lot of different uses throughout the games. And getting bombs is probably the most noted one. With that, we got another missile expansion. Now we have 50. This might be pretty useful for the next time we fight a boss, let's just say. Or it might not, we do have a charge beam after all. Honestly, can't remember how useful it is. But I'm gonna 100% anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I was gonna get that, so I might as well get it now. While I'm still in this area, because there's no reason to go back to this part of that area. But there is a reason to go back to this weird creature, and the game is about to tell me why. We're gonna have to do some silly things to get to this area to find this energy spike. Now, if you just use a bomb, you can make the enemy explode! How wonderful. And by wonderful, I mean awful. And by awful, I mean wonderful. This Morph Ball slot, this is basically a device where you use a bomb in it, and for some reason it charges up certain machines. This is one of the more, I guess, involved puzzles in this game. Some of the puzzles are just like part of the environment, but some are just like, go to this thing to do this thing, and then do this thing as well, with these different machines. At least from what I remember, there's a few in this game that are like that specifically. You have to get to this, if you take too long, the machines will just restart, and you have to start all the way back to the first one. One of the times where it's kind of hard to see from my perspective. That platform, at least. I can't even tell from audio, because the audio gives you some clue when you're gonna run out of time. But no, I made it. I bombed that one. Those platforms go up, and that door unlocks. And with that, we can go back. Well, no, we can't go back. We can go this way, simply enough. But through yet another tunnel area, because this is Metroid Prime, there's almost never ending tunnel areas to connect one area to the next. Might be for like load times. Now, go through this tunnel and we'll eventually get into this furnace. Kind of dangerous, isn't it? Find another energy tank. The game probably tells you about this. It doesn't tell you about pretty much any other of these. But the game probably tells you where this one is. Because the next thing we have to do is a step up in terms of difficulty, I think. We'll ignore this thing for now. Ugh. And yeah, the doors sometimes stay closed for longer because that's how the game loads stuff. It keeps you behind these doors for a longer period of time so it can load the next area. It's pretty clever. And we could go through all these again, but instead, there's this tunnel right here. And we can just destroy that, Right through this room. Now, we could just save and end here with this. But there's one more thing I can go back and show. There's an upgrade we can get like right now, but it requires some backtracking. So I'll just meet you there. Okay, so the game's gonna tell me the main source of all the toxins has been discovered. Now that's pretty important because this whole area has been screwed over by this stuff. It's in the sun chamber. Which means we have to go through the large tree area. There's a third entrance that we'll have to go to next time. But first, something I probably should have explained in a previous room, but I didn't. Sandstone. There are certain materials that you can scan certain either weak parts of the material in these areas, or just like blocks like this, and it'll tell you what it's made of, and each of the more some of the more destructive weapons has a specific type of material that it's strong against. So sandstone here is obviously weak against the morph ball bombs, so you just use those and they're destroyed. Of course, I keep forgetting something. Every time I do this puzzle, I always forget. You also have to destroy this block here, so this indestructible block can fall down, so you can get through this little morph ball maze of sorts. And now in this maze, you destroy one board block and you get another missile expansion. I believe at this point we have 20. Yeah, that's about right. So next time, we're going to find the source of all these, this area's problems, and maybe the source of what happened to all the Chozo here. Maybe. Maybe.